Hello, and welcome to episode 12
of
Coffee with KHEAA. We have an action-packed episode for you today, and it is mostly action-packed because we have a black and white photo with us as our special guest. MacKenzie Massey is joining us remotely.
Live via satellite feed.
Pre-recorded, streaming from your phone, all the way from, where are you right now?
Park City,
Kentucky, with a 3-second delay. Welcome.
A delay?
Ever so slightly. It's not bad.
Oh, no.
It's not bad. Welcome, MacKenzie. So, we've had MacKenzie on before. She brought her accent with her that time. Mm-hmm. I don't know if she has it with her today. I guess we'll see. We'll see how passionate she gets about this topic.
Yeah. Still early in the morning. Not enough people have wronged her yet for the accent to come out.
Yeah. She's not fired up enough yet. But we woke her out of her beauty sleep to join us on this podcast because just like a week or so ago, Keith and MacKenzie went to the American College Application Campaign Convening to represent KHEAA. So we're going to talk a lot about that. I wanted to have Keith and MacKenzie kind of debrief us on how that trip went. And we're going to talk about the coming year of Kentucky Goes to College campaigns and kind of what to expect from KHEAA, what kind of initiatives we have coming up for the 24-25 school year. But first, a little coffee talk. So the coffee talk topic is, I was cryptic on my script that I scripted for you. It just says work travel stories.
Okay.
So, and I feel like you and MacKenzie are both similar to this. I have never not had a traveling job. Like, from the moment I got a professional job, I was in admissions. Mm-hmm. And so I've always traveled with work. And I think you have traveled significantly.
A good chunk. I've had a few office jobs in previous lives, but most of my jobs have been out and about, which I prefer drastically over the alternative.
100%. Yeah. I don't think I could ever go back.
Yeah.
And MacKenzie at least has traveled with KHEAA. Have you had other traveling positions, Mac?
I used to haul livestock, so yes.
So, yes, she has had other traveling positions.
And she even had travel buddies, it sounds like.
Travel buddies of the smelliest sort. So, I want you guys to tell me a funny, an interesting, a tragic work travel story. When you were traveling with work, what is something that happened that won't bore us for the next 3.5 minutes?
Now you put the pressure on me.
I know.
You want me to go first?
I was going to say, do you have it? You've got it in your head?
It'll get there as I start my story. Yeah.
Okay.
And I fill in the gaps.
I can go.
You want to go?
Somebody go.
I'll go.
Okay.
All right, Mac.
Okay, so mine is not like funny or interesting. It's kind of like a full circle moment. And you all know this story because I told you about it. But I have Park County, and it's made up of Horse Cave and Mumfordville. And so I was at Hart County High School once, and I wanted to know where to go to eat lunch. And one of the seniors told me that I needed to go to the Wigwam General Store.
You cut out the what general store?
The Wigwam General Store.
Wigwam General Store.
Yes. And she told me that I needed to ask for her mom and that I needed to get a burger and sweet tea. And I was like, okay, perfect. So I get to the Wigwam General Store and I said, is so-and-so's mom here? And she whipped around and she said, well, who's asking? And I was like, your daughter told me to come see you. And she was like, oh yeah, no, sit down. So I had a burger and I had a sweet tea, and there was a little girl who was in a wheelchair that was climbing all over the bar. It's not a bar, it's a general store, but like the bar area. And she was just giving these old men all sorts of just heck, and it was hilarious. So I go out to get fuel, and this was pump before you pay, which there's no place like that anymore. But it was pump before you pay, and I saw this little girl, her dad was putting a wheelchair on the back of a tractor. And every time that you're in Hart County, you go to the Wigwam General Store. What?
I said that feels very unsafe.
Well, she wasn't in the wheelchair on the back of the tractor.
Okay.
It was just putting her wheelchair on the back of the tractor. But if you're ever in Hart County, you need to stop by Denison's Roadside Market and get whatever fresh fruit they have and an ale 8. And so I had stopped there before I went to the Wigwam, and they were closed. And I was like, hey, why are they closed? And the guy sitting on the front porch was like, oh, well, old man Denison died. I was like, okay. So fast forward, I'm eating at the Wigwam. Her dad's loading her wheelchair on the back of the tractor. I go in to pay, and I was telling who I now know as Brenda about how cute this little girl was. And she said, oh, she has spina bifida. And I was like, oh my goodness, I never would have guessed, whatever. And spina bifida actually had taken Brenda's daughter previously. So that they love this little girl. And Brenda said, did she tell you where she was going today? Talking about the little girl. And I said, no. And she said, well, they're going to old man Denison's funeral because he was the head of Farm for a Cure. So that's where you farm and you donate some of your, basically your money or some of your earnings to a cancer foundation. So Hart County has become a very large place in my heart, specifically for my little girl with spina bifida, Farm for a Cure, Denison Market, and the Wigwam General Store.
And we've been.
Is that where we went?
Wigwam.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I've now been twice, right?
Yes.
That pimento cheese was legit.
I know. I dream about it sometimes.
That was good. I didn't realize that's where we went.
Where it does.
Okay.
Yes. It is some of the best food I think I've ever eaten. Is at the Wigwam.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were voted best burger. So
I believe it.
It's really good.
Let's just end the podcast here and go to Hart County and have a burger and some pimento cheese.
I may do that today.
Yes.
Yep.
Eat one in our honor. All right.
That was sweet, man.
That was a very sweet story. Is yours as sweet as that?
No, mine is just an airing of grievances. But no, so in one of my previous roles at KHEAA, I used to be the Kentucky College Coaches Program Manager. So I used to travel to all of our college coach sites and do site visits with our AmeriCorps members that we sponsor here at KHEAA. And one of the things that's interesting to know about these site visits, a lot of times they can last at the tail end of a school day. So I might have a meeting with a college coach that lasts until 4 or 4:30.
Oh man, I know where this is going. And I'm already miffed about it.
Yeah. So some schools have policies where you have to give an ID when you check in, and they're all for safety protocols, and I get it, but there are some schools that want your car keys, and I didn't think anything of it. I gave my car keys up. I went and met with my college coach, lasted till about 4:30, 5 o'clock. The college coach exited out of a different door, in the back of the building, because they were parked out back. Well, I parked out front like a visitor would. Mm-hmm. I go down to the main office to go get my car keys. Mind you, this is about 3.5 hours from my house, and all the lights are off and the doors are locked. I was stuck at this high school, and I didn't know anyone because I lived 3.5 hours away. Luckily, by the grace of God, a teacher I saw it was coaching something came in do you need help? I'm like, yeah, my keys are in that office and it's locked. So they ended up calling the principal, but I sat there for about an hour. I didn't get out of there until about 6 o'clock at night and got my keys. So ever since then, I always get in an argument when someone wants my car keys because it caused all of that worry, and now I'm scared to death to lose my car keys when I'm out traveling around. So
and this is my high horse on this. This is my pedestal. I think it is highly unacceptable that they ask for your car keys.
Yeah.
What if you're in an emergency? What if something I'm a mom. I'm away from my kids.
Yeah. Well, me, I do the 3-pat system, cell phone keys, wallets.
Yeah.
And I'm good. I pack light, as you all know.
Yes.
But I feel really out of sorts if I don't have one of those 3 items, and one of those is now my car keys.
Yes.
So,
that's why you always take a spare set of keys with you.
Smart. I thought about that after I thought that was one of the things I thought of when I was waiting to get
Right.
my car
I'm
keys.
never doing this again. I'm packing a fake key.
Unfortunately, Mac, I didn't think of that before I gave away my car
Right,
keys at the
right.
tail end of the school day. So,
I
Right,
totally
so-
understand.
And so there's schools that take your license too. And I cannot tell you the number of times I have left my license at a school.
Yeah.
Because I don't check out. Like, I mean, that's bad. I should. But like when I was in 4 and 5 schools a day, every single day.
You're popping in and out. You don't
I would
think
just
about
leave.
it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then the next thing I know, like there was one time I was going to a bachelorette party that weekend and I had left my license at Owensboro High School. And I called the counselor. I was like, you've got to come give me my license back. Like,
Yeah.
It's a bachelorette party. So if something happens to me, they're going to need to ID me. I've recently realized that my ID is expired
Yeah.
as of March, and we are flying to Chicago in a couple weeks. So I've decided, because we've got this microphone here for this laptop. It's a whole thing. We keep knocking it off. I think am I doing it?
I think you are. Yeah.
It's
yeah. You're pacing. Here, you continue your story.
okay. Well, I was just gonna say I'm going to keep because I used to do this. I would keep my old license and then get a new license. I would say, "Oh, I lost it," and I would use that, lost expired license to be like what I give to schools. So if I leave it, no harm, no foul. Who cares? But I guess I'm not gonna go to Chicago if I don't get this ID.
Yeah. Start
renewed.
walking now, I guess.
Right? Yeah. I had wanted to drive anyway,
Was
but
this your
no
way
one
of,
wanted to take a road trip with me.
This was her way
That's
of
right.
making that happen.
They were like, "We know how much Cassie talks. We don't want to do a
And
road trip."
We know how both Casi and Keith drive. So we were like, are flights available?
I am a bad driver. I will give you that. I don't know how.
I feel like
Keith-
I'm a really good driver.
I was gonna say I don't know how Keith feels about that statement.
Don't think
I'm a
you're
cocky
bad
driver in that I think that, like, if people are passing me, they're driving recklessly because they're going too fast. If they're in front of me, then they're going too slow. I'm the only one on the road that has the optimum amount of speed, I feel like.
It's basically what you're saying is it's them, not you.
100%. Yes. Yeah.
I feel like Casi
So humble.
would not be a bad driver
If I would
If
stay off
she
my
were-
phone.
if she were a focus driver.
I'm not a focused driver at all.
Yeah.
No, not at all. I'll be the first to tell you. Like I mastered 3 levels of the Starbucks game on the way over here. The Starbucks summer game.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I will say this. I feel like I'm a much better driver than I am a passenger. I think I'm a bad passenger.
Absolutely.
No comment.
Yeah, I get very judgy about people's driving habits when I'm in the passenger seat.
He'll be like, just pull over.
Yeah.
Let me try.
Like, my nerves are shot
We
a
went-
mile down the
We
road.
went to trivia.
Like, I know I've
last
been with
week.
Cassie, and I'll be like, you see that car stopping, right? You see him, right?
Right,
Right?
yeah.
Right?
He's like hitting his fake brake in the floorboard. Like, your brake doesn't work, buddy.
We leave a trivia last week, and when we left from the trivia, I asked Keith 5 times if he could just give me the address to where we were going, so I could just put it in my GPS. And once I put it in my GPS and I'm looking at the directions,
He was
he's like,
still
"Mac, it's right
navigating.
up here. It's right. It's left. Then you're gonna go left." I'm like, "Keith, it's on my screen."
Like, no control issues whatsoever.
None.
None.
Well, what if that screen failed you, Mac? What if maybe Google was wrong and I was right?
Or what if
you ever
there
thought
was,
about that?
What if there was like a wreck and she had to get around it,
Yeah.
like when we were on our way there?
Yep.
And you
Or-
somehow
I'm
knew
telling you
how
all,
to-
my
Just-
thing is navigation. I know where I'm at in all moments.
his middle name is Garmin.
That's right.
No. I can't wait till we talk about ACAC so we can
Oh,
talk about your navigation skills.
you.
Welcome to the roast of Kevin. Welcome to the roast of Keith Ritchie.
I feel like the last podcast was a roast
it
of
was.
Keith Ritchie.
It
Is
was.
this like the new theme now?
It is. It is. Every episode in the script, it's like, and then we roast Keith for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my travel story. I have to tell y'all this one. I feel like y'all I've probably told you this. I've probably not told the masses. But I started my career at my alma mater. So I worked at Transy. I went to Transy, worked at Transy in admissions. I was an admissions counselor. And, you do training, and we had done like SACAC's dry run. And then you go out for travel season in, September, and you start travel season. This was my very first week of travel season. I was 22 years old. Like, I'd never done anything like this before. And I had booked myself in Nashville, like in the Nashville area, the Tennessee area. They do a lot of like college fair. There's like a college fair circuit there. And so it was a week of those college fairs, that circuit. And so I think it was like Wednesday night, and I was tired of, eating out and tired of sitting at restaurants by myself. I was young, and I didn't like doing that a whole lot, like eating by myself. Now I wouldn't care. And I got to a place where I didn't care. But I was like, I'm just going to order some Chinese food. And I'm like in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee. So I order Chinese food, wake up at like 2 a.m. with food poisoning. Oh. I am like, praying to the porcelain god in a hotel room. So it's like nasty, like moldy walls. It was disgusting. But I was sick all night long, and I knew I could not make it to the morning fair. So I called my boss, and I was like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, I'm so sick. And he was like, just get better and come home. And I was like, no, like, I have a college fair tonight. I could probably make it to that fair. Like, I'm not gonna miss out on 2 of them. Like, I'll get it together. So I rested. I got a late checkout, but because I left late and the other fair was like a while away, I was in a hurry. I was running late. And so I get to this fair. It was already dark. And this was a weird fair. Like I said, it was somewhere in Tennessee, and it was inside of a mall. It was a college fair inside of a mall. And so I'm at this mall parking lot. I pop my trunk, and we used to use like a dolly, like a foldable dolly, and we would wrap bungee cords around it so that whenever we, had our boxes all stacked up, we could bungee the boxes so they didn't fall off. So my bungee cords are wrapped around my dolly, and I open the trunk, and I'm in a hurry, and I'm rushing, and I pop the bungee cord off the dolly. It comes up and hits me right where like the cartilage of my nose meets my face. And all I know is I like saw stars. Like, I was just like, oh. And then I felt the blood coming down. But this is my first week in the field. And I was like, I will be danged if I miss another fair, because I just missed one. And so I just cover my face. My nose is gushing blood. I just cover my face and go on. Like, I load my dolly. I rush into the mall. And I'm like,
what a trooper.
I'm here with Pennsylvania University. I'm sure there's like blood in my teeth. I'm like, I'm here with Pennsylvania University. And they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, just where's my table? So they show me to my table. I get my table completely set up. And then I go to the bathroom. And I look like it was awful. Like, my whole face is covered in blood. It was on my shirt. And so I took a napkin. I took like a paper towel, and I went to like wipe my nose, and my nose was like it like moved when I wiped it. And I was like, ah. So I did the entire fair, stayed to the very end. I think I stayed in the hotel that night, and then I went back, and like by the time I got back to Transy, like both of my eyes were black.
I was going to ask, did you get any students out of that fair?
Right. They were really like, don't go talk to her. Don't go talk to her. Her face is green and bloody. And I was like emaciated because I'd had food poisoning. It was horrible. And like, I was like, I guess it can only go up from here.
It's a good start into the college access.
Right.
World.
That was my very first week of traveling with my job for Transy, and I somehow still came back the next week. So, and also didn't do anything about my nose. I like called a nurse friend of mine. She was like, they're not going to do anything. They're just going to tape it down. So just tape it and just move on with your life. Just popped it back in there, and now it does. No, I'm joking. And now if I move it this way, no.
The next segment is the tricks that Cassie can do with her nose.
I've not smelled anything in 20 years, but it's fine. So yeah. There's my travel story.
That's
And
a
the
good
reason
one. That's a doozy.
why I wanted to talk about travel stories was because you guys just got back from traveling for
We
work, a
did.
big work trip.
Yeah.
So give us a little bit of history on what American College Application Campaign is and why KHEAA is involved in it.
It's a wonderful organization. There are a lot of states that participate in ACAC, including Kentucky. But the biggest thing about it is that it allows us to have these concerted efforts to create a lot of different college access initiatives. So here in Kentucky, we call it KY Goes to College. So, we have KEAA.com, which a lot of people are familiar with. If you haven't checked it out, go to KYGoesToCollege.com. There is some great stuff on our website there. But that's where we house our information about our different college access initiatives that we sponsor through KEAA. So in Kentucky, the big ones that we sponsor is the Kentucky College Application Campaign, which is essentially designed to help students just get some applications done. A lot of high schools, hundreds of high schools throughout the state of Kentucky host one of these events, or sometimes it'll be like a week-long event where college reps will come in, their KEAA outreach counselor comes in, and the idea is to help students get just some assistance with the admission applications. But a lot of schools have taken it and ran with it and made it very creative and fun, where they do a lot of different games and promotion of college access and things like that. We also have our FAFSA Completion Challenge, which is something where schools can compete to try to improve their FAFSA completion rates. And that's been very successful here in Kentucky. We actually just started the process to award our 4 FAFSA completion scholarship winners, as well as our school contest, where schools will get some funding from KEAA to help fund some of those FAFSA completion efforts. And then we also have our College Decision Day initiative, which is at the tail end of the year, usually around May 1st. And the best way we can describe that, it's kind of like those athletic signings where, everyone makes a big deal out of the student committing to whatever college. We decided to take that idea and broaden that out to anyone going post-secondary. So a lot of schools have made that a really fun, exciting thing as well. So anyway, all of that is packaged together through this KY Goes to College initiative. But ACAC is the national organization that helps us with that. They help fund some of our events, and they help us kind of get these initiatives off the ground. So every state has, part of ACAC has a coordinator who kind of leads their efforts in the state. So every year they have a state coordinator convening, and that's what MacKenzie and I went to a couple weeks back in Washington, D.C., which I don't know about you, Mac, but I got a lot out of it to just hear what other states were doing. You could hear from state coordinators and similarities between Kentucky and what they do, and some things that we felt like, oh, that's a good idea. Maybe we should implement something like that here in Kentucky, and vice versa. But we got to really put our heads together with a lot of different states and just talk about different initiatives and ways to do that. Mac, what did you take away from that trip?
Well, I am obsessed with KY Goes to College. Anyone who knows me and knows me in this job knows that I love that. That's one of my favorite, probably my favorite part of something that we offer and do, because we get to serve students in so many different ways. I came home with notes upon notes upon notes and ideas and ideas and ideas. So many ideas that I was like, you know what? I need to bother my bosses and send every single idea that I had pop into my head during ACAC. I need to send them an email at about 1:37 in the morning so they know.
And shockingly, we were both still awake working. When we
yes. They actually responded at 1:45. No. But it was a first. It was the first time for me to go to ACAC, and it was awesome to see what all of the other states across the U.S. are doing. Not to like toot our own horns or anything, but Kentucky's got it. Yeah, Kentucky's got it going on. I've received a couple emails from some people who I was able to meet there. And they were like, ma'am, like, we really love what you all are doing. We love the energy that you brought. And I was like, well, mine is feral energy, so you're welcome. But it was a really good time. I will say it was jam packed. I
Yeah.
mean, we met from 8 to like 8 or 8:30 in the morning until like 5 or 5:30 in the evening. And it was packed with information.
Mm-hmm. One of the
But
things that
yeah,
we got to do during the convening that was really exciting for MacKenzie and I, we got to showcase a new pilot initiative that we started called College Match Day, which basically is a college access initiative specifically targeting juniors in high school to kind of just get that conversation started and to learn more about what possible options are out there. And the exciting thing to me, Cassie, is that it's something that will kind of bridge itself into our previously scheduled initiatives for seniors. So the idea is you start them off junior year like in the spring with something like College Match Day, and that lends itself into the following fall, with seniors to start filling out their applications and that sort of thing. But we had 3 high schools participate this year in that particular pilot program, College Match Day, and I think all 3 did it a little bit differently, but they all would say that it was a success.
I agree. And I'm particularly impressed with how well the high schools did, given, we basically said, we don't have a plan or a structure for this. Just go forth, create an event, tell us how it went. And they did incredible.
Yeah. And I know
with that.
Kentucky was one of very few states that was presented with that opportunity to have that pilot program. And I think we did a good job here in Kentucky. Our partners, the schools, bought into it. The students had fun with it. But when we had shared that at the convening, I know a lot of states got pretty excited, Mac, about the prospect of bringing something like that there. And I think that, they had even mentioned us training other states to kind of, replicate what Kentucky has been able to do.
I would agree with that. With everything that you said from, the schools doing it a little differently. I know that I did something different than, the 2 other schools, but I think that's one cool thing about College Match Day, about KY Goes to College, and about outreach is I can do something completely different that serves my students.
Right.
And then somebody across the state can do something completely different and serve theirs. And it's phenomenal.
Yeah, and to me, I think it takes the pressure off of whoever is hosting these at the school level. So if you're watching this or listening to this podcast and maybe you're a school counselor and maybe you've never participated in those initiatives before, just know you can make it as big scale or as small scale and simple as you want. At the end of the day, the whole reason for these initiatives is, the fundamentals. Help students get applications done, help them get their FAFSA done, and celebrate their decisions at the end of the year.
Yeah.
If you keep those fundamentals in mind, everything else to make it fun and exciting is just icing on the cake.
Yeah. I've seen college application campaigns. So we have been part of that program for,
it's been a while.
I'm trying to think, 13 years now.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Because I think it was like my first year here, we didn't do it, but my second year here, I think we did it as a pilot program. And I have seen events as small as at some point in the month of September, if you need help with your application, come see your high school counselor, and we'll help you with your application.
Yep.
And I've seen events as big as week long and like
pep rallies
pep
and stuff.
rallies.
Right.
I go back to, there was one year at Owensboro High School that my very good friend Christy Miller, did like a the places you'll go theme. And so like you walked into the gym and she had completely transformed the gym into like a Dr. Seuss. She's very artistic and very creative and artsy, and she converted the gym basically to like a world of Dr. Seuss. And the places that you would go would be like things that you needed to do for college application. So you would check your Keys account at one booth and you would actually apply for college at another booth. You would get your transcript off of parchment at another booth. And there were volunteers and there were celebrations and giveaways. And I feel like I could say the same about all of the campaigns that I've seen. College signing days that are decision days that are huge, and every senior gets some sort of giveaway or prize at the end. And then I've seen them to where they just give everyone a certificate of like, this is what you're going to do. So, I love that you can tailor it to the needs of your own school, your own community, and your capacity as a counselor to put on an event like this.
Yeah, for sure. It's exciting stuff. And what excites me about it is it seems like every year we have some new schools sign up for this. And again, if you've not done this in your local school yet, registration for the 24-25 initiatives now open. If you go to kygoestocollege.com, just takes about 30 seconds to sign up your school, but you can pick whichever initiatives. You can pick all of them. You can pick one of them, whatever you want to do. But we'll be able to help you with promotional materials, trainings. We'll get you in touch with other schools who have done it in the past. So it really is kind of a team effort. Mm-hmm. We have a plethora of resources available. And then again, you can make it your own and make it work for you and your students.
Tell me, okay, before we go to break, I just want to hear a little bit more about your all's trip, anything that came from that, just anything else you want to add about your trip to Chicago. No, it wasn't Chicago.
Washington.
It was Washington, D.C. We're about to go to Chicago.
That's right.
Tell us about your trip to D.C. Anything else you want to tell us, Mac?
Well, if you haven't already seen our compilation of videos that I made into, I guess it's a TikTok. It's not on TikTok. Check out our Instagram. We made it an Instagram reel. It was so much fun. Keith and I did not get a lot of sleep because everything was so action-packed. And when you're in, our nation's capital for 2 days, you want to go everywhere and see everything and do everything.
We walked. We did some walking, didn't we, Mac?
Yeah, Mr. Navigation. We could have walked a little bit less.
I just wanted to show you more about our nation's capital, so we took the scenic route. So.
We did.
He wanted to give you the Kim Dolan treatment. Have you heard the story of us being in DC and Kim wanting to us to just walk from?
What was it? Was it the National Cathedral? Is that where we went?
It was the National Cathedral that she wanted us to go to. And were we staying at the Omni?
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah, I think we were like at the Omni Hotel.
Whatever hotel is at the base of a really, really big hill. And that cathedral is at the top of that very big hill.
Absolutely. And it was July.
Yeah. It's about 95 degrees and a swamp.
I mean, y'all, I fought for my life.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, we're going to have to call an ambulance.
I remember the first few steps.
Like, Kim was like, y'all want to call an Uber on the way home?
Yeah.
I was like, how about an ambulance?
Right, yeah. Yeah, your watch was like giving you alerts like calling 911.
My watch was like, great workout. And then like 5 minutes later, my watch was like, please slow down. Your heart rate is a little too high. And then about 5 minutes later, my watch was like, we have taken the liberty to call
the authorities.
There will be medical assistance to you shortly. Like,
yeah.
And then Kim was just like cool as a cucumber, just like walking, having a full on conversation. I think she stopped and did a couple of jumping jacks at a red light. Yeah. Like,
well, she was talking, and then like we were all engaging in conversation for the first few feet or yards, and then she got further ahead of us, and she kept talking, and like I stopped talking because I had to focus on breathing at that point, and so
it was
awful. I couldn't hear the conversation between you two because my heartbeat was beating so
There was
loudly.
no conversation between you two. I could barely breathe, much less talk or think. There was zero oxygen going to my brain.
Yeah.
And what was crazy was like
we got there and they're like, "Oh, you just had a shower."
Yeah, exactly. We show up and they're like, they're freshly showered.
Is it raining outside?
The thing is Keith and I had just both gotten our positions.
Yeah.
As like director and assistant director. It is me. I keep knocking it off.
I got it wedged.
And so I don't feel like we were really comfortable enough to be like, Kim, this is straight up torture. Like, stop. Don't make us walk.
I let Keith know. I was like, Keith, if you don't stop, my heart will.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, when me and my penny loafers get on a mission,
y'all get
you just gotta stay behind. That's all I can say.
But I remember that walk. I kept like looking at you, like maybe at some point Keith is gonna be like, "Y'all, this is insanity. We have to stop." Like,
I was looking at you to say that.
I was half dead. I couldn't be held accountable to make decisions. I was. Like, I mean, I was literally like texting my husband, like, please tell the children I love them. Please tell them I have really enjoyed being their mom for the past 4 years, but this is it for me.
Yeah.
So he was giving you the Kim Dolan treatment in DC, Mac.
Well, I didn't like it. And we did a lot of walking. But we got to sightsee a lot. We got to do a lot of things. We went to the U.S. Botanical Garden, which
That was very cool. Yeah.
Yes, so stunning. We had a little travel trip to Maryland, which was also fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, were we in downtown? I don't know. We were around DuPont Circle. That's all I know.
That's where our hotel was. Yeah. But we walked all over.
Unlike Keith, my navigational skills are a cat trying to find itself out of a wet paper sack. So, but where we were was super cute. Like, it was like kind of, I don't know, it was busy. For some reason, I guess I just didn't think that people in DC walked everywhere, but they do, which is why no one in DC looks like me.
Or me.
They're all much more fit than I am. But it was really cool. And I think what was even better than being there was coming home and having a Kentucky Goes to College, a KY Goes to College meeting on Monday. Right. And being able to bring a bunch of ideas that we had there back to that meeting. And in KY Goes to College, we always say, like, big things are coming. Y'all don't understand. This next year of KY Goes to College is going to be a gradual, not as an uphill climb as Casi and Keith took with Kim Dolan.
We're giving it the Kim Dolan treatment.
I feel like Kim doesn't even sweat.
She doesn't.
Yeah.
Or like breathe hard. Like she was just like chatting, and I was like, I puked a couple times.
Keith and I were walking on flat ground trying to get to some tacos, and I was like, Keith, we gotta get a taxi.
Yeah.
The fact that you all got a taxi like it was 1997.
We did it to just hone our negotiation skills because we started.
We or you?
Well, she helped. She did it.
I sealed the deal.
Yeah, she did. She closed it. Yeah.
But yes. So
you can't negotiate on an Uber, but you can negotiate with a cab.
Absolutely. But like I said, big things are coming to KY Goes to College. This coming year, we're integrating some things in. However, the 25-26 school year is going to be the most incredible pandemonium that you have ever witnessed. Like, we are so pumped. We are working so hard on it. We're taking a year to take our time to make sure that every single thing that we want to do isn't rushed, to make sure that we're serving not only our students, but the counselors that we're working with. Mm-hmm. We're connecting across the state. So I'm so pumped about it. And shout out to New Mexico, Ruben in New Mexico.
Hi, Ruben. I've heard so much about you.
That's right.
Yes. And Ruben in New Mexico and Gus in Hawaii. Sarah in Ohio.
And in Connecticut. Yep. We've had all kinds of friends.
We're going to have to add all of these people.
That's right.
Yeah, we should. But they are the reason that we came home with so many ideas, because they were just, it was just a wealth of knowledge. It was, like I said, I have my, I know you can't see me. You can only see my headshot, which is not what I look like in real life. But I have my notebook of ideas, and I'm just super pumped about.
For those of you who are imagining, what she is holding up is her notebook of ideas.
Right.
Oh yeah,
thick.
Maybe Zach and Lene can like insert like a paper sound.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm excited about. Is what's to come.
I feel like that sounds like something very different.
What they do?
I took a stack of papers and went like to the microphone, but it.
Yeah, it's a very very high tech production here.
That's right. This is actual Foley happening. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very excited about the ideas they came back with. I'm very excited about kind of the 2-year plan for Kentucky Goes to College. After break, we're going to talk about what this year is going to look like. So I'm excited to talk about that. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about our FAFSA office hours coming up in the month of June. and a FAFSA Bootcamp that we
Exciting
are
stuff.
launching like tomorrow.
Yep.
So, Mac, are you going to stick with us for the rest of this, or do you want to be set free?
I actually have
You have a call.
I have meetings scheduled all day today. So I won't be able to stay, but I will definitely be listening once it gets posted. And I feel like I did a really good job keeping my
Can't
accent
do it.
away.
It's too beautiful.
She took your picture down.
Oh, I did have somebody text me and they were like, I don't know how you can look so sassy and so professional at the same time.
It's true.
And I was like, I got it from my mom.
I get it from my mama. I love this headshot. It might be my favorite one that anyone took. Okay, well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for letting us wake you up and start your day with the podcast immediately. Thank you for representing us so well at the American College Application Campaign Convening, and for being just the best MacKenzie that we know and love so much.
You're welcome, Cassie.
You're welcome.
That's
girl.
pretty good. I think that was spot on, wasn't
I
it?
think you sounded just like her.
Yeah.
No, there's definitely more of an accent behind it, but it's an absolute pleasure as always. You guys have the best day ever, and I will see you later.
Bye, Mac. Love you.
Bye.
Bye,
love
Mac.
you.
Safe travels.
Can I just? We're not going to break yet. Can I just say she said she did a really good job keeping her accent away, and the crowd and the panel says that is wigwam.
Yeah.
When she was talking about Hart County,
I think that brought it out of her.
I think that brought it out of her.
Yeah.
Are we still going? Okay, so we're going to take a short break. Hear a little bit from our sponsor, so you'll hear Keith's voice yet again, or actually maybe will it be MacKenzie's this time? I don't know. And then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about the fun things we have going on this summer.
Did you know the money you need for college is right here in Kentucky? Some families will need to borrow student loans to help cover college expenses. The Kentucky Advantage Education Loan, offered by Kentucky's only nonprofit lender, offers a low-cost, fixed-rate, zero-fee private loan. If you need to borrow, choose wisely. Choose the Kentucky Advantage Loan.
This message is brought to you by this station and the Kentucky Broadcasters Association. And we're back. Thank you to our sponsors for talking to us about the same things that we talked to you about on the podcast. And we wanted to kind of close up the podcast today talking about moving into the 24-25 school year with Kentucky Goes to College. So we've already talked about all of the campaigns. We do have the College Match Day initiative,
Yep.
which currently is really only open to the pilot schools. If that is something you're interested in, we're happy to talk to you about it. So if you're a high school counselor and you're listening and you're like, oh, I kind of want to know about this thing for juniors, we're definitely happy to talk to you about it. We don't
We just don't have a whole lot of set resources
to go
yet.
off of
Right.
yet. Right. We're not quite ready to launch it far and wide. The college application campaign is active this year. One of the new things that we're doing that we're really excited about is we're going back to in-person training for these events. We used to do this years and years ago, and it was the last year we had it was the year that the ceiling leaked in that conference.
Yes. That was an interesting one.
We basically had counselors from all over Kentucky in the big conference room here at the KHEAA offices in Frankfort. And we were hearing something. And we were like, what am I hearing? What is that? And it was like, and then it became a trickle. And then we realized the ceiling was leaking, and it was people would notice it as a wave across the room until we were to the point where we had to clear the room and put buckets in the floor, and a pipe had burst upstairs, and we were in the middle of a training for counselors all over the state, and so we haven't had one since then.
We went virtual after that, didn't we? That was the turning point.
Pipes don't leak on Zoom.
That's right.
So we switched to virtual. But we are going back to in-person. They will be regional trainings. I think we have 6. Is that right? Or 7?
That sounds right. I think
6 or 7
Yeah.
across the state. And what is really exciting is that this year we've given our campaign a theme.
Yeah.
And so the theme this year is pep rallies. And so we will be doing pep rallies as the training across the state. We've thrown in some FAFSA updates and some FAFSA training at these events. So I think they're going to be really good. You're going to be able to get some ELA credit.
Mm-hmm.
And we will open those up for registration probably within the next couple weeks.
What I love about those trainings, when we've done this in the past, and I think it'll be even more so when we go back to these like regional in-person trainings, we'll share everything we have to share, but what I think is most valuable to walk away with is hearing from other schools who have done it.
Yep.
So you can kind of get some ideas. Well, this school did it this way. This one did it a totally different way, and they both came to a successful outcome.
Absolutely.
And that's really the beauty of all of these initiatives. Again, you have that freedom and flexibility to make this work for you and your school. So just hearing what has worked, what hasn't worked for schools in the past, I think is pretty valuable.
I agree that in the past, that was the most important part.
Yeah.
Was the networking that happened and the idea sharing, the information sharing. Because I had schools that would come away from the in-person training and they'd be like, that was amazing. Like, we're ready to revamp our entire campaign. Yeah. And so that's what I'm looking most forward to. For going back to the in-person and just the excitement that it builds.
Yeah.
You can watch a webinar. I don't get excited over many webinars, but in-person trainings, events, I get excited about.
Establish contact information. You have, a buddy at another school doing something similar, so you all can bounce ideas off of one another, even long after the training comes and goes. So
get some ELA credits early on in the year. All of these are taking place toward the end of August. So like I said, we're going to go live with that training registration very soon. But in the meantime, you need to register for the campaign to actually be part of Kentucky Goes to College. And so if you did not do this last year, if you did not do one of these events last year, you are not auto-registered. We auto-registered everyone from 23-24 this year. So if you've done this last year, you don't have to register this year. Right. You're already set. The first 200 schools to register are guaranteed promotional items and a special promotional welcome package that we're really excited about this year. And so definitely something to get on board with if you're not already.
Yeah, sooner rather than later, because I think we had about 120 schools auto enroll for the 24-25 campaign. So again, if your school hasn't done this in the past, go to kygoestocollege.com. Takes about 30 seconds to sign your school up and get in line for those promotional materials. And even beyond the promotional materials, that's where we'll be able to stay in connection with you throughout all of these campaigns to give you updates, pointers, tips, you name it. And as we get more information as the school year progresses about updates from the federal level or here at the state level, we'll be able to pass that along to you as quickly as possible because you'll be on that listserv as a KY Goes to College participating school.
Absolutely. Something else that we have going on that we talked a little bit about last time, statewide office hours start this time next week.
Yeah, a week from now,
today,
right?
Yeah, a week from today.
It's Wednesday today.
2 to 4, every Wednesday in the month of June. There are currently over 70 locations across the state of Kentucky that are registered to host office hours. We're going to start promoting those spaces, those locations. So if you are a parent or student listening and you need help with your FAFSA, in the month of June, there will be over 70 places to choose from 2 to 4 every Wednesday to go to and get some live in-person expert assistance.
Such an awesome initiative because it's not just us at KHEAA. We've reached out to a lot of our partners far and wide so that really we have solid coverage throughout the state. So if you have a halfway done FAFSA, it's been hanging out there for a while, we can help you get to the finish line. So we'll definitely have those dates promoted on kygoestocollege.com on our social media pages. But again, that starts every Wednesday, 2 to 4 throughout the month of June. So we've got them covered.
And one final exciting initiative that we will tell you about is on June 20th here in the Frankfort office, hopefully with no leaking ceilings.
That's right.
There will be a FAFSA summer training boot camp that we are hosting. And so this will be a really exciting time to come and get some up-to-date, up-to-the-minute FAFSA training. We know that we traveled the state a year ago, which is crazy, and trained everyone on how to file the 24-25 FAFSA. And then it actually opened and we learned a lot about the 24-25 FAFSA. And so we're going to do some updated training where we talk to you about workarounds, how to fix issues, how to correct, how to help and assist mixed status families, how to help and correct FAFSAs that had experienced glitches when it first opened, and kind of next steps beyond there. The really exciting part is the afternoon portion of that training. We're going to talk about how, like, some unique ways to reach students who haven't yet filed their 24-25 FAFSA. There is still a completion gap. We're still about 17% down from where we need to be. And so, and like, you know, the thing about making up ground of percentage points of FAFSA completion is that this time last year, we were still making progress in the FAFSA completion field. And so the later on we get in the summer, the more we will fall behind.
Yeah. And
so we want to fix that. We want to close that completion gap. We need you to do it. And the way you can do that is to come to our June 20th FAFSA Bootcamp here in Frankfurt. You can go to KHEAA FAFSA Bootcamp.rsvpify.com and register for that training. That training will open the door for you to then host a FAFSA tailgate party at your school or your organization, ideally in late July, to target any recently graduated seniors, any current college students, to get all of the things checked off of their to-do list so that they can start college in the fall, knowing that their financial aid offer is on the table, accepted, completed, and that they're going to have money to pay for college.
Exciting stuff, yeah.
Really exciting stuff.
And I'll stock up on some plumber putty between now and then. I'll go up in the ceiling, make sure our pipes are in good order
we got
before the event.
Got this pipe fitter, part-time pipe fitter.
That's right.
Checking everything out to make sure we don't leak on you here at the KHEAA offices. It's a big summer.
It is.
We've got a lot going on. We've got a lot going on into the fall. You know, it will be moving into the school year. It will be the second year for several different things like FAFSA Sunday Fun Day. We'll do FAFSA February again this year. We're hoping and praying that the FAFSA opens in October. It's looking less and less likely that that's going to happen, but we will shift and pivot because we have done it before and we'll do it again. But right now, in the here and now, between Kentucky Goes to College campaigns, opening and expanding, between trainings here at our KHEAA offices and in your area regionally, and summer office hours, we still have our hashtag KY Files FAFSA campaign going on, where we're just blanketing social media with posts about filing your FAFSA. Mm-hmm. We are busy bees.
Yeah. And if you'd like to help us with that social media campaign, if you check out kygoestocollege.com, you can see our social media graphics, which are, you know, there for the taking. So if you want to put that on your social media pages, feel free. They're there to be shared.
All of that to say, we got to go.
That's right.
Our to-do list is growing by the moment. And so, you know, we have a lot going on. We've got travel coming up where we are basically traveling the nation to talk about the good things going on at KHEAA. We've got local travel coming up with the Kentucky, I'm not going to know what it stands for, CTE, Career and Technical Ed Conference. Yep. That's coming up. The Frisky conference is coming up for the summer. Is that all? Everything? Victory over Violence? Is that that's Frisky?
That's Frisky, yeah. I don't know.
There's so much going on. There was one more. I know. I felt like there was one more summer conference, but maybe not. Anyways, State Fair coming up in August. We got a lot going on. Yeah. So we're going to keep bringing you the most up-to-date information. We're going to keep bringing you new initiatives, fun facts, all the things you need to know to be able to function as a high school student, parent of a high school or college student, college access professional, financial aid administrator, whatever you are in the world. We're here to help you through that. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you to MacKenzie for joining us again via Zoom. Thank you to Zach and Lene, who we never give enough credit for, or to. They are our wonderful, wonderful producers. I'm nervous about episode 13.
Why?
Lucky number 13.
Oh, yeah. We got this.
It's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
Hopefully we've got really big news coming for you. In episode 13, we're going to talk to you all about summer at KHEAA and we're going to really dive into all the things that we have going on. So thank you for joining us. And until lucky number 13, KHEAA later.
Have I told you how much I love that line?
You're joking.
From the top. All right.
1, 2, 3.
MacKenzie didn't clap.
Start over.
Kenzie, you're messing up my juju. All right. 1, 2, 3.
I was really hoping hers was delayed.
Oh, no, it was. It was.
I didn't smack my hands together.
I know you did.
Okay.
All right.
Y'all hear that?
Yes.
I think Lene wants your attention.
It's not charging. She's about to die.
I think my life was just threatened.
Because you plugged it into the wrong thing.
Did I really?
Yes, it's back here.
Fire me. Good. It's been a day.
I get it. I get it. Yesterday was the Mondayest Tuesday ever. Okay, so are we still rolling?
Oh, yeah. You're good.
Okay.